honest with you and be open, and there will be a good rapport.
And with Jones, it's like an extended family. I mean, Joan is like part of our family in a way. I mean, Willie brings home so much, just talks about what they do with their day, and for us, it's really, it's just like having, another member of the family watching, taking care of your kid, not just taking care of him, but helping him grow up and, and mature. It's really, it just feels,
it becomes a friendship
feels really
over time.
good, It's like, it's kind of, again, I go back to what we were when we were kids growing up, the grandparents were around. I mean, you had this extended family, and you felt really good in that environment. A lot of security, a lot of love, and that's certainly a large part of what Joan provides. That's certainly not by any means all, but it's really a large part of it.
Nick, did you have one cookie? You can have another. You're just sitting there eyeing them, so cute. Whoa!
What a...
There's a feel about a person. Ruth is a very nice person. In fact, she's an exceptional person. And you can sense a warmth and a concern for the children coming from her that really makes you feel at ease. I know for a fact that she really cares for Nicholas as a person, as opposed to just a client. There's a real bond there, and that's really rewarding. So I guess more than anything else, it's a sense based on getting to know somebody that they really care for the children and are going to provide for them more for love even than money.
It's very important. You need responsible caregivers so that you could go to work and concentrate on the things that you have to do and not be worried about your child all day. So it's very important.
I think one of the hardest things about being a working parent is actually having to leave your child, and you can adjust to a work situation, but I think if you are at work or doing something away from your child and you're just not sure that that child's in a particular, that things just aren't right, I think it really erodes at one's own productivity and causes a lot of guilt. I think parents, and you have enough guilt thinking about working, and having secure child care makes my time away from her more productive, and I know that she's developing and growing when she's away from me.
Obviously, I think most parents, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel I would rather be home. But some of us have to work, not by choice. So my major benefit is I am working full-time, and I know my kids are in a good place and having lots of fun. So it relieves me of some of the guilt that is very normal with working mothers.
You can't do a good job working and concentrate on your job if you're worried about where your children are and what they're doing and who's taking care of them and what kind of influences are around them. And I'm familiar with the program intimately because I've been with it for a long time, and to me, I feel very secure. I can always come over here and visit too, so that's a plus for my job.
I'm gonna see you later, all right? I'm going to work now. Okay? Huh?
When I was looking for daycare, that was the main purpose of why I chose the Lutheran home, was because they had the facility in the same building. I loved the fact of being able to go down there on my lunch hour and pick up Jacob and hold him and whatever, just to see him and know that he was in the same building as I was. I loved coming to work with him and leaving with him. It made it feel like we weren't really apart all day.
Did you play outside, huh? Did you play outside?
And just the closeness. They know I'm here and I know that they're here. I can peek out the window and see them playing on the swing set, and I'm much more comfortable with it. I have no problem leaving my kids at a daycare, knowing they're real close to me like that.
It's made it much simpler to go to work kind of worry-free and, kind of be able to let go of them completely and just work and not worry about what's going on and know that if anything happens, I'm a phone call away and just a few minutes away, so I could be here if I needed to be.
There's a lot of stuff going on now about, the cost of daycare, and Marquette's daycare is not cheap. But for me, being able to walk in any time that I want and to see how my son is doing and if he's eating well and what's going on with him and what he's doing, it's just, you can't put a price tag on that. That's one of the reasons I came to work here. Was because they had an in-house daycare.
Well, Danielle's been in the program since she was 6 weeks old, and that's approximately a year and 2 weeks. So we've just loved it here. The family, my wife also works here, and we get up early in the morning. All three of us get ready and come to work. So it's kind of a unique situation where we don't have to leave her anywhere or worry about anything. She's here, and come by and see her whenever we want. It's just nice, it really is. I wouldn't be here if there wasn't a daycare here. It's perfect. It's what people need. And me in particular, my wife agrees that it's just, it's the advantage. And that's what we like.
We don't have any family members that could take care of our children, and I'm not too comfortable with leaving the children with strangers. At least here, I know everybody here who's taking care of him. I'm right here. I can pop in, see what's going on. So I feel very comfortable leaving him here. And I think without this daycare center, I probably wouldn't be working.
I think it feels kind of reassuring that you have quick access and they have access to us anytime, within seconds actually. So yeah, in a way you feel a little more assured.
If it hadn't been for this daycare, I probably would have had to quit work. There just isn't good quality daycare around here. So to me, it was a great benefit. I like it because I can pretty much, if there's something wrong with them, I can keep track of them, and I usually call her in the morning, make sure everything's okay, and then I'm there at noon, and then there's only 2 more hours left in the day, so pretty much you don't feel like you're just deserting them. It seems like I'm with them that way.
If you want to go to work and you want to do a good job and be productive, it's very important to have good child care that you can trust. You don't want that nagging in the back of your mind, is my child okay? And I'll be straightforward and say that I like my job, but my child is a lot more important to me than my job. And if it took it, we would sacrifice in that area. We've been really fortunate in that here in our own neighborhood, we've got a family daycare provider that I think is just without parallel. I do know that it makes it possible for both my wife and I to be out there working and to know that our son is being well taken care of. I don't think he's suffering at all. We're lucky in that respect.
Well, we like the idea that this is a parent cooperative, so that we have an opportunity for real involvement in the program and setting up the school. We have a lot of interaction with the teachers. We have an opportunity to come in and participate during some of the class sessions, things of that nature, so that's nice in that respect. It's also been nice to be able to rely on the teachers here sometimes to help us figure out techniques and strategies for dealing with problems at home as they come up, and so it's been helpful in those ways.
Dig up that road.
Promoting parent involvement, sharing information, maintaining open and honest communication, establishing clear expectations, and resolving differences effectively are all important aspects of building a partnership with parents. What can you do as a caregiver to be sure these goals are realized in your relationships with parents?
You have a fun time today, okay?
Well, I know that when I was teaching, it was very important for me to know the parents, to be able to feel comfortable to call the parents, for me to have an idea and an understanding of what that child's life was like when they weren't at school. And for the parents, for there to be a mutual trust and respect. And I think that the only way that that can happen is if you're talking to each other and you know that you have this common interest of this child. And that to me as a teacher was very valuable.
Modeling for parents at pickup time or drop-off time, as parents see us interacting with children, they see different ways of handling discipline. They see different things that we're doing with children, playing with children, how we talk to children, how we play with children, songs we sing to children, stories we read. They begin to see a lot of different ways that we can interact with kids and activities we can do with kids, and that's parent education, probably the most effective parent education.
Mostly what I try to achieve when I'm working with parents is a partnership, that they understand that we are both working together for the best of their child. And sometimes that isn't as easy said as done, and sometimes there has to be negotiations in there.
If you keep open with the parents, I think they're more open with you, and you ask them, do you have any problems? It helps. Another good thing to have is a policy that they read before they join your group at all, so they know how you discipline, so they know what you feed their children, so they know what activities you do in a day. so that they're used to your program and they think, I would like to send my child here. Then there won't be as many problems later.
But I also feel that I really have to look at what that parent is asking of me and see if I can some way incorporate what they ask. But most of the time I feel that it's real important that the communication is there and that we are working together, that they understand, bottom line, that the needs of their child is the most important thing that we're both working for.
Remember not to be too judgmental. It's so easy. You care about the kids you're working with. You become very attached to the young children who you're providing care for. And it's very easy with that attachment, out of that caring for those children, to begin judging parents. And I think if you see that happening in yourself, it's so important to step back and realize there's a lot of different ways to be a good parent.
I think my first job with them is not to be judgmental, to be very accepting of their families, their culture, their belief system, their traditions, their values. That doesn't mean I can't be honest about my own. And often meaningful conversation with the children will bring out everybody's ideas or family traditions on a given subject. But I need to be respectful of all of them and not pass judgment. And that way, all during the day, all those parents all over the city are brought in rather than kept out. We're always remembering them and talking about what's coming up or who did what or who looks, all the different things about their parents are brought in all day, accepted, not judged, endearing, that it's all endearing. It's all close to us and important. So they're not far away.
Real competition is one of those things a lot of parents feel. Again, we had talked about parents being kind of torn, wanting to be out working, wanting to be out being an adult, wanting to be home with that baby. And I think they're concerned, is my baby going to like this person better than me? Maybe they even spend more hours, awake hours, with this caregiver. Will they love them more than me?
I have great sense that my daughter loves and trusts her parents and her sister. I mean, sometimes she'll say, oh, I want to go with Joni, or she'll call Joni up or she'll mention her and I'll go, oh, and for a moment she has sort of a staggering feeling saying, well, maybe she really wants to be with Joni more, but it's just like, and that's fine. And I guess the way I feel about it is that having my daughter be in a loving, caring, and stimulating environment makes my time at work more productive, because I don't have to worry about what's going to happen. And that I think it builds her sense of trust that there are she can love her parents and she can love her sister, but she can love Joan, and Joan's not, that it helps to build trust. And I think, trust is such a cornerstone for a child and adult development that it doesn't bother me.
So it's pretty important that we find ways to make parents feel comfortable, that we don't act so professional that we intimidate parents. We don't want parents to say, well, you're the experts, you know all there is to know about our kids. We say, but you know more about your child than we will ever know about your child. And I love to tell parents this, my experience in working with little kids, that sometimes during the day a child may be unhappy or tired or might even fall down, hurt himself, and he cries and he wants his mommy. And I tell parents, I'm pretty sure that if at night or on the weekend your child is tired and cranky and falls down and hurts himself, he's not going to cry for Lucille. I'm just pretty sure that child knows who's most important in his family.
I'm not trying to replace the parents. We never will replace the parents as providers. But to have another home that they can go to that they feel just as comfortable in as their own home, as much as you can get it that way. And it's helpful for the children for that. For the parents, it gives them peace of mind that their child is going to be treated in a home setting the way they would treat him if they were home.
Okay, now we have 5 kids in the...
The one thing that I've really appreciated here is that the majority of teachers have been here such a long time that some of the teachers they had as infants, they still see every day, which is a wonderful thread of continuity through their lives, that these people are, you know, it's like having another aunt or something. It's somebody they can relate to and run up and hug, and that's a neat thing for kids.
No. Do you feel hurt when that happens?
Yeah. No. Yes.
Well, I was asking about that because what happens where I work is usually grown-up people who have had something like that happen to them, and they have feeling not so good about it.
Remember that old bus driver? Maybe he's there.
They want someone to talk to. Because imagine, you know, let's say that happened to you. You were out on the playground and something like that happened. How do you think it would feel if you turned around and there was somebody who you really liked, who really liked you, and you could go over to them and say, you know what just happened to me? Somebody ran into me, and I got really angry. Yes, that might feel good. If you could go and tell them, you know, how it felt. Well, that's sort of what happens. People come to me and they tell me how it felt when these things happen, and then they feel better.
Parents are our most important resource to understanding the child. They know their child better than anyone else. The most important thing to do with the parents of the children that we work with is to listen to them. We need to hear what those parents have to say. We need to ask questions of parents. Often, in order to be able to hear all that a parent has to tell us and all the information that they have to share with us about that child, we need to build a comfortable relationship with them. And that means our personality shines with the parents. It means we extend ourselves to the parents with open arms. We invite them to come into our home. We invite them to come into our school and visit. We help them to feel comfortable when they do come in, not like a stranger or an outsider who doesn't really know what's happening in the classroom, but we treat them as an expert. They are the expert on their child, and we need to encourage them to do that.
Children are very different in different environments. So one thing parents can bring is a lot of information about what is my child like. And again, they have much more extensive knowledge than any of us have about children we work with as the parents. So they can bring a lot of information about the children's development. They can bring us recommendations about what works with children. So again, they can actually give us advice in terms of things that we might do in the center or the family daycare home that are really effective. I think the other thing is they can remind us that each child is unique. Again, as we work with groups of children, often as caring and as professional we are, nevertheless we're working with a group, and that's very different from parenting. So again, parents can always be that reminder that each child is unique and really deserves to be treated as a unique person.
There we go. Balancing the needs of their own children and families with the needs of the children they care for is also a challenge for many providers and teachers who are parents themselves.
Because you're not little anymore. You're a big help.
I had, at the time when I started, I had two of my sons. One was a baby and one was 3 at the time. And it was very difficult. How I coped was talking to anybody who had a similar situation. How do you do it? How are you capable of not hugging your child too much and making the other children feel like they weren't getting enough hugs? Or do you not allow yourself to hug your own child too much? Or there were just questions after question after question. That helped because I learned that, yes, it's certainly applicable for you to have different feelings for your own child, but at the same time you have to remember that all children need affection, and you are capable of giving that affection to all of them. But they know that this is your own child, and you can say that to the children as a group.
I don't think that I ever really saw that as a difficulty, balancing the needs of my family along with the needs of my daycare children. And one of the reasons I think that probably was true was because I always let my own children know that they were special. They had places of their own and spaces of their own and things of their own that were theirs, that they didn't have to share. I never ever tried to make it be so that they were just a part of the group. I treated everybody equally, but my own kids knew that they were special. And I think that's something that we mustn't ever forget when we're doing family daycare. And to always stop and say, why am I doing family daycare? What is one of the reasons that I started doing family daycare? It's to stay home with my own children, to be with your children during the day. So in doing that, in trying to be fair to all the children in care, you mustn't ever forget that. So sometimes if they need a little bit extra of your time, or if as they get off the bus from kindergarten, they're the first one who gets to talk to you as they hit the door, to always let them know that they're special.
Some of the very good things, I think, are that they learn to be more sharing, more giving with other children. They are not super possessive of their belongings because they realize they have to be shared. They do have some special toys that are their very own, but then they keep them in their rooms so that no one else can be allowed to play with them. They have learned to be like big brothers and sisters, as I mentioned, with the little ones.
Rocky, usually you just scoop them, he'll eat them. Big one, good boy. Num num, yeah.
Honey, he can feed himself if you just...
Now let him chew a little bit.
I think that's going to help them be better parents when they grow up, because they're learning from us here as parents to do what they should do and not just sit their children in front of a television somewhere.
I know. What a waste of milk, I always think.
The other part I explain to my children is that this business is a real good way of combining work and family life, and that without this business, we would not enjoy this high standard of living. It lets me take care of the house and my business at the same time. And if I was doing some other job, we would have to juggle that. And I would have to juggle my childcare and juggle my life to a much greater extent than I do now. I'm really able to attend to both at the same time.
He eats everybody's vegetables.
I think it's very important to realize that it is all of us stand to gain. Parents stand to gain, we as caregivers and teachers stand to gain, and the children stand to gain. As caregivers, as teachers, we gain a lot of support and information, really in helping us do our job better. Again, we get information about children's development. We hear what works with parents, what parents do with their children that works. And that's all information that can help us understand children better in a broader way and make good decisions about the children we're working with. We also get support. Sometimes we think about how do we support other people and need to remember that we need to be supported too as caregivers. We need to be made to feel good. And I know in my own experience, one of the most rewarding things I got back from parents was smiles and pats on the back and people saying, we really do notice all of those special things you do with my child and we really do appreciate it. You are making a difference.
They need to know that the parents are concerned, proud of the things that they're doing, and parents need to reinforce the teachers and let them know, oh, I'm so happy with what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job and I'm real pleased. You need to let them know that.
Again, the more we can bring parents into the life of the center, they begin to realize this is a place that's good for my child. This is a place I can trust. Maybe I don't have to feel so guilty. Maybe I can feel okay while I'm working, knowing my child is being well cared for. And that's a tremendous contribution to parents' lives. They also, just as I talked about, teachers get information from parents. Parents also can get information and support from us. Parenthood is always a challenge. And parents really are having to learn on the job. So we as caregivers are able to give them useful information and advice, not to tell them or teach them what to do, but really just to give them support as they're problem solving and trying to figure out ways to be even better parents.
You're a partner with them in rearing children. So take it as a real wonderful challenge and think of ways to involve them, to stretch their imaginations, to get them involved with you, because who's going to benefit the most? The child.
The bottom line for parents being involved in the schools, in the public schools, and I think, in early childhood programs and in family daycare, is that it will help the child. It'll make the child feel comfortable in that setting. They'll know that this is an important place to be. Mom and dad and the teacher are talking together. This is an important thing because the 2 or 3 most important people in my life get along well together. They talk together. They like each other. This must be important. My mom comes to school. My dad comes to visit me in my daycare, and so this must really be important. And that's valuable because the kids learn then that school is really a place that they want to be. So that's the bottom line.
And I think that the children stand to gain a tremendous amount. Certainly emotionally, they get a stronger sense of emotional security as they see their families and caregivers working together and see that continuity across their two lives.
Oh, it's just like a phenomenally wonderful feeling, a sense of security, a sense of just totally wonderful pleasure in knowing that he is happy and that I have the utmost belief when I drop him off in the morning or when John drops him off in the morning that he's going to have a great day. And
oh yeah, definitely. That means a lot. I mean, with both of us working, it's just you just don't even worry about it. You don't even think about it. You go off and do what you have to do during the day, and a lot of it's not the greatest fun, and you get through your day. But the last thing you worry about is whether your kid's getting good care and growing upright. I mean, it's just such a great sense of comfort. You don't even have to think about it a lot. It's just there. I mean,
it is. It's
C-D-E-F-G-H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O